Good evening. This is Belita Howard with Level 2 English Language Learners. We are waiting for everyone to join us. Again, this is Belita Howard with Level 2 English Language Learners. The homework for today was on page 16 and 17 of the future workbook. And we'll review that when we have our participants signing back in. Also, students were to have an article or a newspaper clipping or a magazine article in English that they wanted to read and discuss. So tonight we're still in Unit 2 of our workbook and in our lessons, and homework was page 16 and 17. Tonight, this lesson will focus in our regular book on pages 42 and 43. We're going to try, and then next week we will wrap it up and have another unit done for the year. So again, I have 6:45. I know it'll be a couple of minutes for the others to chat in. We are a little bit later than usual. I'm sorry, my husband's in the hospital and he's in one an hour away from here. So trying to get through traffic and out of there and set up made me a little late today. So I apologize for that. So again, if you're just joining us, this is Belita Howard, Level 2 English Language Learners. You can be reviewing pages 16 and 17 as we wait for the other two participants. Sorry, we're waiting. Do we have another participant yet? No, not yet. Okay, I said 6:45, folks. All right, I'm going to wait a couple more minutes because everybody's phones is off, and then I'll get started. And we will Okay, I have okay. All right. I gave him to 6:45. It's now 6:51. Sorry if you're just now joining us, then this is where we're going. Your homework was for page 16 and 17. Hopefully you did your homework and you're just having trouble connecting or didn't understand that I was going to be a little bit late today. Oh, finally. Okay. Hey, Fanny. Can you connect to the audio?
Yes.
Okay, good. I hear you now. Okay. All right. I think our other one is having a trouble, or she didn't get the message that we were going to be a little late. Oh, here she comes. There it is. Okay. Awesome. Hey, Cruz. Hola. No, where did she go? Okay, I just put something into the chat just to say hello. I'm hoping we can work on that tonight. Can you hear me, Cruz?
Yes.
Great. And you can hear me, Fanny?
Yes.
Okay, I hear y'all. Y'all hear me? We're good. Okay. Your homework was you needed to have an article to share. And then we were on page 16 and 17 of the workbook. Who has an article? Nobody has a story or an article or something from a magazine or newspaper to discuss, read and discuss? No?
No, I didn't do that.
Okay.
Sorry.
Did anybody do your homework on page 16 and 17?
Yes.
Yay! All right. Okay, well, we can work on that then. All right. Fanny, since you were the first to join, on page 16, number A2, what do you have in those blanks?
Number A.
Yes, 16A in the workbook. A2, Mr. and Mrs. Wang.
Oh, Mr. and Mr. Wang live in New York City. They work in a flower store. They have 2 children.
Perfect. All right, Cruz, number 3.
Chinua
Yeah.
lives in Los Angeles. He works at a bank. He has a wife and new baby.
Perfect. All right. That is good. Okay, on B, number 2, you were to write those into negatives using don't or doesn't. Fanny, number 2.
Camille
Camille,
doesn't
correct.
work in a hospital.
Great. Okay, number 4, Cruz.
Desi
Yeah, I
and
don't.
and Bao
Uh-huh.
don't live in Florida.
Perfect. Okay. Number C on page 17. Let's just take turns reading those sentences. Fanny, you start.
Oh, the C?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Number 2?
No, my sister and I.
Oh, okay. My sister and I live in Boston.
Uh-huh. Go ahead and do the next one.
I live in an apartment downtown.
Good. Okay, Cruz, the next sentence.
My sister lives in a house outside the city. I work in an office.
Okay. Fanny, you do 5.
She works in a school.
Uh-huh.
She and her husband have 3 sons,
Uh-huh.
but they don't have any daughters.
Okay, Cruz, finish this up.
My husband and I don't have any children yet. I'm happy that we live near my sister family.
Perfect. Awesome. I think y'all are getting those do's and don'ts and awesome. Okay. Very good. All right. Let's go on to pay in our regular book. We're on page 42 and 43. And we're using do and does at the beginning of a sentence to ask a question. Oh, but before we do, does anybody, okay, you didn't have an article to read, but did anyone have anything exciting happen this week? Something you read or? No?
No.
Okay, all right. Okay, on page 42, we are looking at the simple yes and no questions, and we're looking at when, where, how. So there's usually 5 question words, and we're looking at 3 of them. When, where, how, what, and and who would be the other 2 that we'll get to at a different time. But we're looking at when, where, and how that refers to the do's and the does. Okay, we're pretty much the same thing as the do. I do, they do, we do, but he, she, the cat does. The he, she, and the it is the different one where it goes to the does. And then the same thing for don't. I, they, we don't, but he, she, Maria doesn't. Okay, on A1, we're going to ask the question and then the answer. So, do or does you have any sisters? What's the correct one? Do. Do
Yeah.
you have any sisters? And so we
Do
see that
Yeah.
is, yes, I do. Do you have any sisters? And
you
the correct one is, they're saying is C.
does
Ah, okay. Number 2, can anybody do that one? Do or does he visit his family often?
uh,
Does.
Yeah, there's 2 parts to that one. Does is correct. Does he visit his family often? And what letter would be the answer?
D.
D. No, he doesn't. Very good. Okay, number 3.
Nice have children.
Do you see you nice have children?
You do.
Okay, let's look at number 3. What is a niece? Is that a he, a she, or an it?
She
See?
Okay.
is
So what's our rule about he, she, or it?
Oh, does.
Does, your niece have children?
E.
E, yes, she
he does.
does. Very good. Okay, number 4.
Do your parents work?
Correct.
Mm, yes,
Yes,
they do.
they do.
Very good. Number A. And then what about 5?
Do you and your son lives in Dallas too? Yes, we do.
Do you and your son? Yes, we do. Yes. My son and I are a we. Yes, so it's B. Very good. Okay, let's try on C. Number, sorry. Get out of here. All right, we're looking at do and does. Okay, how often do your cousins visit their parents? So the word that they're giving us is, the last one is we be, in the last part, would be visit. So they're wanting us to use the correct do or does and that often. So can somebody do number 3?
When do your husband go to school?
When does your husband go to
does.
school? Let's look back up at the boxes. The second one is when do you, where does he, and how does she? So he and she is the does, but when, well, but that's not going to make any sense. When do your husband go to school? No, it's when does. Well, that's not going to help y'all.
When does
Because you is, yeah. Oh, they're just saying does is in the he and the she. So your husband is a he, so that's why it's does. When does your husband go to school?
No.
Because your husband is the he.
Oh.
Do is I, they, we. Do. Does is he, she, and it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That other one gets confusing. Okay. So number 4, how
Mm,
Do or does?
You
how do
Do. Uh-huh. You keep or keeps?
how do you
keep
Uh-huh.
how do you
In touch. That word is touch. How do you keep in touch with your family? In this way, touch means not to touch something, but how do you communicate? You know, stay in communication with your family.
how do
Okay,
you
number 5, where do or does?
where I do where uncle
what
Where do
do
or
you
does your
do
uncle?
where
do you do?
Where do your uncle work?
where
Does that
do
sound right?
where do you
Your uncle is a he, she, or it.
He
So where
he
does your uncle work?
oh where
That's what they're trying to help you to do, is look at who
where
is it referencing. Where does your
uncle
uncle? Uncle is a he,
you
or
uncle
where does your aunt work would be a she, or where does the dog work? I mean, whatever. Okay, number 6. How many kids does Sharon have? Or how many children? Kids is a different word is a popular term for children. But how many children do or does Sharon have?
how many children does
Sharon,
Sharon have?
have, because Sharon is a she.
cup. Mhm.
All right, good. Keep working. Y'all are really, you're getting that. Okay, let's continue on page 43. Number A, I'll read this. Okay, Fanny, you read the sentence, and Cruz, you answer it. Okay.
Okay.
Now, to answer the questions, you're looking at the little box in the grid. We have you can use whatever name you want to. We have Nai, we have Gina, Hector, Rahim, and Nu. And Nai, he works at a hospital. He has 1 children, and he lives at his in-laws' house. Gina works at a hospital. She doesn't have any children, and she is in a rented apartment. Hector also works at a hospital, no children, and he lives at his brother's apartment. Rahim works in an office. He has 3 children, and he has his own house. And Nu works in an office. She has 2 children, and she also lives at her in-laws' house. So Rahim's got his own place. Yay for him. Okay, so number 1, do Nai and Rahim have children? And then the answer is yes, they do. You don't have to say how many, because they have 2 different children.
Okay.
Number of children. Okay, so Fanny, you read number 2.
Where does
Mm-hmm.
Nero
Yeah, I just call him Nye.
Works. Work.
Not work.
Work.
And
Uh-huh.
Fanny, where does he work?
Where's
Uh,
the she work?
Oh, sorry.
Oh, he work at a hospital.
Very good. And that's the correct form of work. Where does he work? He works at a hospital. Yeah, very good.
He work
Okay. Number
at
3, Cruz.
do Noro and Nu
Uh-huh.
lives with their love?
Is it live or lives?
Lives?
No,
Live?
just live. They live.
Oh,
they live. ¿Dónde está?
with their laws? In-laws?
In-laws.
In-laws.
Yes,
What is
they
Nu?
live with their in-laws.
They live.
Yeah. Yes. They live in the Laos house.
Do they? Yeah. Yeah. Number 3 is a do.
Yeah.
It's easy to put a does in that, but do, because nigh and new are a they when you put them together. So it's do they live with their in-laws? Very good. Okay, number 4. What about Hector? Fanny, you want to ask that question?
I don't know.
Do or does?
Does.
Does, because Hector is a he.
Does. Does. I don't know. Does Hector have children?
Okay, and Cruz, you answer it.
No.
Does
No, he.
He no have children.
No. Do or doesn't?
Oh, he doesn't have children.
No, he doesn't have children. Very good. Okay, number 5. Cruz?
doesn't
Where doesn't Gina
Huh?
lives?
Uh,
Where doesn't Gina lives?
where does
where does
Gina live? No S.
Oh,
Where
live.
does Gina live?
where does Gina live?
Okay, Fanny, she
How
live or lives in a rented apartment?
big how many children?
Nope, nope, nope.
No?
Let's finish 5.
Oh,
Where does Gina live? She live or lives?
Okay. She live,
With the S.
she live in apartment?
In a rented apartment. Yes, very good. Okay. All right, Cruz, number 6.
How many children does Rahim have?
Very good. Okay, Fanny, you answer it.
Dos. One moment.
No, he
Oh,
have or has?
¿cuál es? He has
Uh-huh.
3 children.
Perfect. Good.
Uh-huh.
Okay, now you get to ask the question, Fanny.
Lina. Huh?
And number 7, where?
Where does
Uh-huh.
no where
No.
where okay.
That's one of those tricky ones. It's where do Nu and Rahim work? Because Nu and Rahim are a they.
we
So,
we do Nu and Rahim work
uh-huh.
work
They
work
work in an office. Okay, y'all might want to go over that again. Practice those. Oh, and let's look at part C. And this is practicing our twos and either and doesn't. Nye works at a hospital, and Gina and Hector do too. To mean being as well.
No has
So they do too instead of does. It's do because it's a they. Remember, I, we, they do. He, she, it does. Okay, number 2. Nu has children, and Rahim what?
Doesn't too. Does too.
Does too, because Rahim does, he has 3 kids. Okay, number 3. Gina doesn't work in an office, and Hector
Don't either.
Is it don't or doesn't?
Doesn't either.
Because Hector is a he. Nu doesn't live in an apartment, and Nye and Rahim what?
Don't either.
Don't either, because don't would be the they.
don't either.
Right. Very good. Okay, 38, you can read over about mailing a package and answer, that's just reading and answering those questions. Okay, we're gonna make it kind of short tonight. Homework tonight, because we want to get through this. Yeah. We want to be able to go over page 24 and 25 next week. So practice those, because that's everything that we've looked at in this lesson. It really concentrates on the do's and the does and the have and the has. And then putting it in the correct order on some of those. it all right, let's look at page. Okay. We'll do that in a minute. All right, let's listen and read another story like we did last time. So I'll read it to you and then we'll ask questions. And that'll help with our listening. Okay. Yolanda was walking up some stairs at work when she tripped and fell. She put her right hand out as she started falling and broke her wrist. A coworker drove her to the emergency room of a nearby hospital. An X-ray technician took X-rays of her wrist. When the X-rays came back, they showed that her wrist was broken. Now Yolanda is waiting to see a doctor. The doctor will have an assistant put a cast on her arm. Yolanda hopes the doctor will give her a prescription for pain medication. Every time she moves, it feels awful. Okay. Was Yolanda injured at work?
Yes.
Yes, she tripped going up the steps at work. A co-worker drove Yolanda to the hospital. True or false?
True.
True.
True. A co-worker drove her to the emergency room. Yolanda's left wrist is broken.
Yes. No, right. No.
Right. Oh,
Yeah,
good.
right.
Good catch. X-ray technicians take X-rays. True or false?
True.
True. The hospital has an emergency room.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. All right. In your opinion, will Yolanda feel less pain when the cast is on her arm?
No.
You don't think so?
Yes.
Why do you think she might have less pain?
Medication.
Well, we're not talking about medication. We're just talking about the cast. She might have less pain with the cast because it's not moving as much. So she
Okay.
would be less likely to bump it, and it just stays, it just kind of stays straight and secure. Yes, pain medicine will definitely help. But putting it in a cast and then maybe in a sling just to baby it will probably help. That's why they like to put casts and slings on people.
No.
Did either of you ever break a bone?
No.
No? Oh,
No.
man, you're lucky.
But my daughter, yes.
What did she break?
Her arm.
Her arm?
Yeah.
What was she doing?
Jumping in the couch.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Yes? Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll do it. Fanny, do you have a broken bone or your kids?
No.
Lucky. Wow. Now, doesn't some of you have a boy that plays sports?
No.
No? Okay. All right. Well, the first time to the emergency room is always really fun for broken bones. After that, you get used to it. I had two boys and they were always breaking something. And then I've broken my leg and my arm and my jaw. And my toe. So, I understand. All right. What is our? I'm sorry we got kind of started late. My husband has been in the hospital all week long with pneumonia, and so I was
Oh.
rushing to get back from there. So not a fun week at all. Practice your Psalm 23 and look at, and then your homework on page 20 and 21 of your workbook. If you haven't done your flashcards, you know, try those. They're really good. And I know I was bad and did not practice Psalm 23 in Spanish this week either. So I understand sometimes life gets busy and doing something different is a challenge. So, all right, practice those do's and don'ts. You got any questions?
No.
No.
Nope, you're doing really great on these do's and don'ts. So I think you're just about got it.
Bless you.
Sorry. Sorry about that. This light. All right. If we don't have any questions, you got your homework. Y'all have a good week and stay safe. No broken bones.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Have a
Thank
good
you.
week.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.